You train for months, you cut weight, you step into the octagon and fight your heart out. You lose and walk away with $10,000. Meanwhile, someone watching you paid $12,000 just for their seat. One chair costs more than your entire fight. This is UFC fighter pay in 2024, and it's getting worse. UFC fighters get screwed on pay. Everyone knows this. Starting contracts are still $10,000 to show, $10,000 to win. These are the same rates from 2010. Why hasn't this changed? Everything else has exploded in price. Gate revenues are triple what they used to be. Pay-per-view prices keep going up. So why are fighter salaries frozen in time? Let me take you back to the 2000s. MMA wasn't just the UFC. You had real choices back then. Pride FC was massive in Japan. They had the best heavyweights. Strikeforce was building stars in America. WEC had incredible lighter weight fights. Elite XC was even on network TV. If you were a fighter, promotions competed for you. When companies compete, wages go up. It's simple economics. Fighters had leverage. Those days are over. The UFC didn't try to compete on fighter pay. They did something smarter. They bought out everyone else. Pride FC, purchased and shut down. Strikeforce, bought and absorbed. WEC, merged and dissolved. Elite XC, they collapsed, and UFC grabbed the best pieces. One by one, your options disappeared. Only Bellator survived, and for a while, they kept some pressure on the system. Bellator wasn't perfect, but they were real competition. They signed guys like Quinton Jackson and Chael Sonnen. They had solid fighters like Patricio Pitbull and Michael Venom Page. They weren't the UFC, but they were something. They gave fighters another option. Then Bellator made bad decisions. Terrible matchmaking, weak leadership, poor business moves. They fell apart piece by piece. In 2024, even Bellator got bought. PFL purchased them. Another option off the table. Now ask yourself this. When was the last time you heard a fighter say, "I'm leaving UFC for better money"? You can't remember because it doesn't happen anymore. The 2010s changed everything. Conor McGregor brought global attention, record-breaking pay-per-views, massive gates, celebrity status. The UFC wasn't just the biggest promotion anymore, it became the entire sport. Everything else was leftovers. If you weren't in the UFC, you weren't really a fighter. Here's what happened when competition died. The UFC became the gatekeeper to everything. Fame, money, legacy, recognition. Want to be considered the best in the world? You have to fight in the UFC. There's no other path. This isn't just about low pay. It's about complete control. They control who you fight, when you fight, what you get paid, what sponsors you can work with. You don't negotiate like a free agent. You take what's offered or you don't fight. Remember the old days? Fighters made serious sponsor money. 5 figures for putting a logo on their shorts. Sometimes 6 figures for big names. Those days are dead. Now you get UFC-approved gear only. Reebok deals, Venom partnerships. And guess who gets the real sponsor money? Not you. You get a tiny tier bonus. It's based on how many UFC fights you've had. It's pennies compared to what fighters used to make. Absolute pennies. Think champions get fair pay-per-view shares? Think again. Here's how it really works. For 0 to 500,000 buys, you get $1 per buy. From 500,000 to 750,000, you get $1.50. Only after 750,000 do you get $2 per buy. So if your fight sells 1 million pay-per-views, you don't get $2 million. You get $1.375 million. They're using a phone plan structure on championship fights? Seriously. Here's the worst part. You can't complain. Speak out about pay? Good luck getting booked again. The UFC controls everything. Your career depends on staying quiet. Every fighter knows this. It's an open secret nobody talks about. Let's break down what a losing fighter actually takes home. This will make you sick. You fight and lose. You get $10,000. Taxes take 30%. That's $3,000 gone. Your manager takes 15%. Another $1,500 gone. Your trainer wants 10%. That's $1,000 more. Gym fees, travel costs, medical bills. It adds up fast. Your take-home pay? Maybe $4,000. $4,000 for months of training, weight cuts, potential brain damage, risk of serious injury. You make more money working part-time retail. That's not a joke. That's reality. The UFC isn't evil. They're a business. They built their dominance over decades. They earned their position through smart moves and good timing. But when one company controls an entire sport, this happens. Market Economics 101. No competition means no pressure to pay more. The UFC makes 10 times what they made in 2010. Gate revenues have tripled. Pay-per-view prices keep rising. Dana White brags about breaking attendance records every month. But that $10,000 starting contract, same as it was in 2010, the $50,000 bonuses, haven't changed since the Brock Lesnar era. This is what monopoly looks like in sports. One company controls everything: the venues, the TV deals, the star power, the public perception. If you're not in the UFC, fans don't consider you a real fighter. Other promotions become stepping stones to the UFC, or retirement homes for aging veterans. Don't like it? Start your own MMA organization. Pay fighters whatever you want. There's no barrier to entry, right? Wrong. The barrier is everything else. Getting TV deals, booking arenas, attracting fans, building credibility. The UFC has all of this locked up. Fighter pay is low because it can be. When you control the market, you control the prices. The UFC doesn't need to pay more because fighters have nowhere else to go. Until something changes, those $10,000 contracts aren't going anywhere. Whether through fighter unions, new competition, or massive public pressure, the system needs a shock. Right now, fighters at the bottom are trapped, and everyone in the industry knows it. This is monopoly capitalism in action. The house always wins. The question is whether anyone will challenge the house. What do you think? Is this just smart business or something darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more UFC education.